All right, followers and subscribers, thanks for swinging by again for another video. This is John Nichols with Coldwell Banker, your licensed realtor in Colorado. Today, we're going to touch on really the housing market and take a look at 2022 compared to 2021 and 2020 to see, what's really has changed and what we may be looking for as we move forward. My goal is to provide you with information that's beneficial to you and that's going to help you make the right decision as you move forward. Um, Today, we're going to be taking a look. We're going to be located in Aurora, Colorado. We're going to take a look at single-family homes. And then again, that time frame is January 20th through December 2022. I can be contacted at 720-877-1940. And hey, let's get started. So first things first, we're going to take a look at average and median sales price. So when I'm looking at this chart here, really what I like to focus on is the average sales price. So when we're taking a look here, it's going to be this green line. Now for Aurora, Colorado, those who are from this area know it's massive. Aurora covers a lot of ground, so there's a lot going on when it comes to the housing market based on community, right? So prices and things can change very quickly from the Aurora area around Buckley Air Force Base to the Aurora area slash Centennial around Eagle Crest High, and then back to um, Beacon Point and South Shore as you get back there by the reservoir. So what we're taking a look here is really the average sales price of a home in December. You can see we're finishing just above that 550,000 mark. And the concern for homeowners today is, oh, well, now my home is losing value after we've come out of this massive increase during the spring and summer of 2022. And what this is showing us is as we travel backwards along this line here, once again, we're above 550,000. It's about the January, February timeframe of 2022 to show that that's where our home prices are now. So really, we're back to where we were just before we started the massive climb in spring, which is to be expected. Traditionally, our spring seasons are a lot better and kind of peak when it comes to price compared to the rest of the year. And that's because new homeowners would like to be in their new home or their new area prior to, say, the start of school or the end of summer, right? So as you look at this chart, you kind of see that trend where here we have a peak, and that's the April, May, June timeframe. If we go back, there's another peak here. We're looking at June, July, August timeframe, right? So that trend is holding true as we move forward. And even if we were to go back further than 2020, you would see that same trend. So the fact that we're dropping a little bit, yes, interest rates have impacted that. However, it's not abnormal to kind of level out coming out of the summer season and fall into the winter season. All right, so moving on, we're going to take a look here at sales price compared to the list price. So basically, what this is showing you is that a home goes to market at 550,000, and then that home actually sells at 560,000 or 545,000. So you're really looking at the difference from what we went to market with for your home compared to what it's actually selling for on the market. Now, keep in mind, it's not always the agent that's determining your price point. Really, what the agent's doing is testing the market. We're seeing where the market is because the market is going to tell us the true value of your home. If there's absolutely no activity and no buyers and all the marketing, everything has been done, that will tell us that the market is telling us our price point is too high, right? And there's also scenarios where maybe there's too much activity, kind of create a bidding war, and a scenario where your price point is either just right or just below the market average. And you can also get in a scenario where your price point is way too low and it kind of gives buyers that thought of, well, what's wrong with it or what's going on? So this is a category and an area that we have to get right when we're looking at listing homes. But for current homeowners and the purpose of what we're going through today, we can see here that the sales price is just under 100%. So let's call it 99%. the list price. And that means that current listing agents are doing a great job of listing homes for what they're worth. We're not listing them too much, which in this scenario, as you start to see the pendulum swing, right? We're not getting the scenario where people are overbidding on homes and things of that sort. And that's what we were getting back in spring, where you see the peak here, and even in the spring of 2021, right? So once again, it's holding true. We're coming out of spring, fall into winter months, and you kind of see this drop. Yes, this drop is steeper than previous years, but we also know that interest rates are playing a pretty big part in this dropping so much, I guess more than what we would consider the norm. So it's very important to get that list price right and get it right out of the gate. So really what we're looking at on this screen here is a number of properties sold. And right, keep in mind this is Aurora, Colorado. So 479 homes back in December of 2020 compared to 478 in December of 2022, or sorry, 2021. And we see a massive drop off in December of 2022. Once again, we can look at it and say, okay, well, it's because of the increase in interest rates that really put a halt into the way things were tracking. But it's also not abnormal for October, November, and December to start to have that downward trend. Once again, as we're getting into winter months, holiday season, and then we'll start to see things pick back up, come February and March, which you see right here in 2021. And then you also see it here in 2020, right? So trends are holding true. And I mean, the big difference that we're really running into right now is the massive swing in interest rate at such a rapid pace, which impacted the downward swing of price points at such a rapid pace. And as we move forward, we're going to take a look at inventory and things of that sort. Inventory is still low and you hear it a lot, but today with these numbers coming from the MLS, they can't be manipulated. This is what's going on in the market. We're going to see some of that. So this is really big for both buyers and sellers, right? Because if I'm selling my home, typically I want to try to sell relatively quick. A normal market may be between that 30 and 45 days. As you can see here in December, we were well above that at 52 days. Basically, that means that from the day your home went to market to the day the home has closed, on average, homes are on the market 52 days, right? If we go back to the spring time frame, we would see that, we're looking at 8 days, 10 days, 13 days. Homes were coming off the market relatively quickly. They were coming off the market over a weekend time frame. Fast closings, things of that sort all impact this number. And again, we see that there was a decrease in the amount of days on the market. And as Fed started to increase the rates and mortgage rates increase, we start to see an increase in the amount of time that homes are sitting on the market. Once again, as a seller, you want to be aware of this. You want to make sure you're making the right decision and really timing. If you're looking at moving into a new home, you want to know that, okay, if the average is 52 days, I kind of need that window in order to prepare myself in the process of moving into a new home or whatever it may be, right? For buyers, when you're looking at this, you're now in a situation where you don't have to make a knee-jerk decision on a home. You actually could take the weekend for the most part to think about it. And obviously, buying a home is a major, major investment. It's a major decision. And I think as a buyer, you do feel more comfortable that you're making the right decision when you have a little bit of time to think about it. You have other data points to look at, versus our spring season when it was like, all right, you seen the house, you like the house, let's get offer in today and let's try to get under contract by the end of the day. And everything was really like go, 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 rush, rush, rush. We're kind of seeing more of a normalizing of the market. Things are kind of swinging back towards, for now, the buyer's benefit. However, as we move forward, there's going to be a few things here that will indicate um, potentially a spring that can be a little tougher for buyers, and that's why you're going to hear a lot of agents and even mortgage lenders around this time frame say, "Hey, now is a good time to jump in because things are in your favor." So the average sales price per square foot. So what we're doing here is we're associating a dollar amount that a home is selling for in Aurora based on the amount of square feet, right? So in this scenario here, we're looking at it looks like we closed December just above $220 per square foot of a home. So if you're trying to get a rough estimate of what your home is worth, and maybe you're not ready to reach out to an agent or you just want to do some research yourself, this is a great way to say, okay, I have X amount of square foot in my home, livable square footage. So if your basement is unfinished, that does not count. But livable square footage, finished square footage, and you're taking that number and you're multiplying it in this case by $220, right? And then obviously there's other multiple factors that us as agents take a look into when determining what a home is worth. Once again, obviously the market is the final decision maker. We're just doing our part to really make sure the numbers align and it's testing the market and moving in the right direction. But when we're looking at the price per square footage, we're starting to see a decline. Obviously, when you see prices drop, that means the price per square foot is actually dropping. However, the positive here, once again, if we're looking at that $220 per square foot mark, we would have to go all the way back to October of 2021 before we kind of intercept what homes were selling for at price per square foot. So, I mean, essentially at this point, you're looking at breaking even from just over a year ago. So the whole sky is falling concept as it sits today may not necessarily be true. Yes, we're down from our peaks, but when you're looking at numbers from a year over year perspective, they're actually right in line and they actually look pretty good for the direction we're moving in and how the future looks for us, especially as inflation continues to decrease. Fingers crossed, we would also see mortgage rates decrease, level out as well. So inventory. So this is the big ticket item for both buyers and sellers again, right? What we're looking at here is it's showing us the amount of inventory that we have, right? So coming out of December, I mean, when you're looking at inventory, we really have just under 2 months of inventory. So that's coming back down. We're seeing the amount of homes listed on the market come down as well. And there's two reasons. One, obviously, some homes are selling. Two, some sellers are pulling their homes from the market because they've exceeded that 52-day average or 62-day average, and as we approached holiday season they really didn't want to deal with the process of having showings and having their home on the market and things like that. So we did see a significant amount of home sellers actually pull their home back from the market. Now the issue with that is, if once again we recall where we were in the spring timeframe, early 2022 and throughout 2021, where inventory was historically low. Low inventory creates more challenges for buyers and better scenarios for sellers. So if our inventory continues to decrease and we get back below this 1 month window going into spring, if rates drop, more buyers come to the market and inventory is below a month, we're going to see a scenario where there's going to be multiple offers on homes again, and buyers are going to be back in that predicament of where they almost have to make a knee-jerk or a rapid decision on purchasing, as we did in this time frame in 2022 as well as 2021. Right, in 2020, that was the first year of COVID, so inventory was a little wonky. We were shut down for a period of time. Agents couldn't do showings. So there was a lot of different things happening. But, traditionally, we would like to see more than 2 months of inventory um, in our market. And that's more of a normal market where it's even for, buyers and sellers. But at the rate that we're going, and if the foreseeable future happens where buyers are coming back to the market, especially for spring, which is peak season, as well as lower rates, if that were to happen, then we're going to be, for a buyer, back in a tough situation. So you will hear a lot of agents, you will hear a lot of loan officers say, hey, now is the time to jump in the pool, find that home, lock yourself in that home, and then you can make whatever necessary adjustments you need to as you move forward. But it's going to be better to be in that home prior to spring than for spring to roll around, inventory to fall off the map, rates to drop, and buyers are out there essentially outbidding one another again. It may not be as crazy as last year, but it can still present an interesting scenario. So, what we're looking here are new listings. So, it's showing us how many listings have come to the market for a given month. So, December of 2020, 289 listings. December of 2022, I'm sorry, 2021, it was 310. And then December of 2022, we're down at 181. So this is kind of tying into what I'm saying about inventory. If we continue on this pace here, inventory is going to go back down. It's going to be back on the decline, and it can make for a interesting spring, right? So once again, we would like to see, you know, and we're talking about Aurora, Colorado. We would like to see 500 to 600 homes, essentially come into market on a more normalized scenario because it's more level for both buyers and sellers. But this was a rapid drop off from September through December. If you look here, same thing at the end of this year, somewhat normal. It's just that this number is so low. That's what's kind of causing some of the red flags as we're already have to, it's January 2023. Happy New Year. We already have to start thinking about spring and preparing ourselves for that. If you're a seller, you're already looking at, okay, spring is going to be around the corner. What I need to do to get my home ready to sell. If you're a buyer, spring's around the corner. And as a buyer, you may even looking at how quickly can I get into a home before that hits, right? So again, thank you for your time. Thanks for following me. Be sure to like and subscribe. I will be providing more information, more data across Colorado. If you would like to have a one-on-one conversation, want to meet for coffee, I'm more than happy to do that. I can be reached directly at 720-877-1940. John Nichols, your licensed realtor here in Colorado with Coldwell Banker Realty. Happy New Year. Thanks for taking the time, and I'll see you in the next video.